Hit the air raid sign. It's time for Monday Morning Fallout. Monday Morning Fallout, of course, when we overreact to the football weekend and a bit to do, a bit to talk about from the weekend.
Yeah.
We will start with my 3 big thoughts. Thought number 1, 27 hours of magic.
It was awesome.
This is with all due respect to the 6-man 1A Division I state championship game. Congratulations to Sterling City.
Mm-hmm.
And with all due respect to Friday. Congratulations again to Carthage and to Argyle on their state championships. With all due respect to them, there was 27 hours of state championship games that are among the biggest heater that we've seen in state championships. When you start with the 2A Division II state championship game with Windthorst's upset win over Mart, you're buzzing all night.
Oh, yeah.
Come back the next morning, you get Shiner and Post. And now Shiner and Post ended up being not super competitive in the end. But A, it was still fun.
Yep.
Real fun. And B, that first half was really good.
The first half was banging, and then
Shiner
stuff that Doug Brooks was doing to humans was so fun to watch.
From an enjoyable perspective,
the excitement never died.
Right.
Even when the score kind of got away.
It got away from Post there, but it ended up being fun. Then you get 3A Division II with Canadian and Franklin,
which was unbelievable.
Some of the best, like maybe the best 8 minutes that we saw all week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then you get Jim Ned and Hallettsville.
Which, like we said in the instant reaction video, just when you thought it couldn't get any more crazy. Let's go to overtime.
3A Division I. That 27 hours, from 7 o'clock on Wednesday until about 10 o'clock-ish on Thursday. Hang that in the Louvre.
Yeah.
Okay? That is as good as it gets. That little slice. Because I tell you guys all the time that this is a show based on honesty. And I will be honest. A lot of high school football games are boring. There are. Plain and simple. There are teams that are overmatched. A lot of them, mostly in the regular season.
If you're watching from a neutral perspective, I would say.
From a neutral perspective. A lot of high school football games are boring. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But when it's good, it's the best.
Yes.
And you had this 27 hours that were just magic. That everything that happened during that 27 hours is something we're going to talk about for years and years and years. That's true. And I looked it up. I was thinking about the last time we had. I mean, we had 3 one-point games.
Yeah. 3 out of the first 4 11-man games were decided by a point.
Right.
Right. Holy cow.
That is magic. And I went back, and it's not the same because it's not like these weren't one-point games. But I think the last time that we had this stretch like this was in 2014. That's when you had Gilmer's upset win over West Orange Shark. You had that crazy Navasota-Argyle game that went into overtime. You had Ennis Cedar Park. Shout out Mike Craven. You had a really underrated Alito Temple game, which I think people forget that game. You had Kyler Murray's Swan Song. That's kind of, I would say, the equivalent of the Shiner Post game of of not super competitive but really fun to watch. And then you had the 6A Division II game. Was what was the 6A Division II game? Oh, it was Katy Cedar Hill. Katy Cedar Hill. That stretch is that stretch that we had on this past weekend. This past week is the best stretch we've had since 2014. Yeah. And it's not always like that. No. And we need to make sure we appreciate it. Thought number 1. Thought number 2, the Facade Crumbles. Let's talk about college football, and let's talk. This is going to be bigger than just what happened at Texas A&M. Okay, this is bigger than that. So the college football playoff comes out this weekend, or on Saturday or Sunday morning. And A&M's left out. A&M's 5th ranked. I am not here to really bang the drum that A&M should be in the top 4. Do I think personally they are deserving of being there instead of Notre Dame? Yeah, I do. That's me. That's my take. But I also think reasonable people can disagree.
Right.
Okay? I also think reasonable people can disagree. What I am very interested in is I'm going to enjoy the last 4-team college football playoff, which is what this is. Because the word is out, okay? The secret's out that the committee is not interested in putting the 4 most deserving teams in the playoff.
No, they don't want group of 5 schools in there.
They're not.
They do not want them in there.
Because if they were, again, my opinion, I think A&M should be in. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. You are free to disagree. But Cincinnati had never had a chance.
Nope.
Coastal Carolina never had a chance.
Which, I'm sorry, but how in the world do they end up in the Cure Bowl?
It's embarrassing.
That
what it
is pathetic.
It's embarrassing. They're undefeated conference champions, and they are in the 4th best bowl in Orlando.
That made me more upset than A&M not getting into the playoffs.
It is really, and so what I think everyone now realizes is that the College Football Playoff Committee is not a football organization. They are not. Mm-mm. They are a political organization. Mm-hmm. And they make decisions based on political matters. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And they looked at the situation, and I guarantee you, the conversation in that building was, well, we could have an Alabama versus A&M rematch, or we could cash a Notre Dame check. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. I'm telling you how it is. I'm not conspiracy guy, but what I am is I can look at what's happening here and look at the history of the college football playoff where they leave out Baylor and TCU in 2014.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm still bitter about it.
Yeah.
They leave out Baylor and TCU in 2014. Now they leave out A&M, and again, I think that's a closer call.
Yes.
But it is extremely clear. You have to be naive to believe that they are going in there truly thinking, well, I don't know, let's figure out who the 4 best teams are, because there is no way that you come up with those rankings with a 3-loss Iowa State team ahead of unbeaten Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
If you are going into that in good faith. Plain and simple. And so, look, if you are upset, like I am, and again, I go back to it. I'm not here to really cape for A&M, okay? I would have preferred they were in. I think that's the right move, but I think reasonable people can disagree on that. Mm-hmm. But I think the entire rankings is a joke. And if you are upset, vote with your remote. Don't watch.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Because the one thing they'll respond to is dipping ratings. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
So that's thought.
I think the other thing too is those Cincinnatis and Coastal Carolina need to go into their bowl games and absolutely beat the living poop out of people.
But why?
Well,
why?
I'm
What's
just saying, like,
because here's the thing.
You're completely right about the only thing that they're going to respond to is the ratings. But I think that more people would hop on the bandwagon of not watching the semifinal games if.
Here's what I'm about. Okay, here's where I'm at on it. I think, and I tweeted this the other day, I actually think A&M's in a better position. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably better they got left out. Here's why. Going into 2021, depending on who comes back and stuff like that, if they go and they beat North Carolina, a good North Carolina team, in the Orange Bowl, if they beat them, and Notre Dame gets launched into the sun by Alabama,
which is likely,
then all the talk in the offseason is going to be about, well, actually, I think A&M might have been the 3rd best team in the country, and we just didn't know it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's going to build on them. Anyway, I'm done with that. It gets my blood pressure up. Okay. Thought number 3, your turn, big schools. So, look, you remember at the beginning of the year, in August, we had those 4 weeks where it was small schools in the spotlight, where that's all anybody was talking about, right? Well, here you go, big schools. The small schools showed out. The small schools put on a show. The small schools kept us entertained. The small schools kept us engaged. The small schools did their part. Small schools, grab a seat, guys. Great work. Grab a shower, pat on the butt, get out of here. Good job.
Yep.
Well done.
Go be with your family.
Great season. Big schools, your turn to pick up the rope.
Yep.
And they set the bar high.
Very, very high
So
this
you got to
year.
bring the heat. That's my 3 big thoughts. 3 helmet stickers. A helmet sticker for Argyle running back Tito Bice, who was a man-child in their big win over Lindale. He ran for 4 first-half touchdowns, ended up with a grand total of 152 yards and 4 touchdowns in an offensive MVP performance. A helmet sticker for Argyle running back Tito Bice. It was great, by the way. Shahan J. Raj has a great piece up on TexasFootball.com about Tito Bice and overcoming his knee injuries and stuff like that to do that. A helmet sticker for Texas A&M quarterback Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond was I think that was Kellen Mond's best game as an Aggie this week against Tennessee. He was razor sharp. And by the way, A&M was not always super sharp in that game, but Kellen Mond was razor sharp. He was locked in. That was Kellen Mond's best game as an Aggie, in my opinion. He gets a helmet sticker. And a helmet sticker for Sterling City running back Cross Caniddle. It's pronounced Caniddle.
I love it.
He takes home offensive MVP honors in the 1A Division I state championship game with an incredible performance. 11 carries, 249 yards, and 4 touchdowns, including that 4th down.
Yes.
There was like 4th and 17, and they go, because it was like 4th and 12, they get a false start penalty. Back them up 4th and 17, and I'm thinking like, well, nobody punts in 6-man football, but it's like, they know who's going to get the ball. They're going to key on him. And it's incredible, just weaving through the defenders all the way in for a score.
It was insane.
And that ended up being that was right before half. I think it ended up being a 36-yard touchdown run, and that put him up like 44-22, and it's like that really took down May.
Did you?
That was incredible. So a helmet sticker for Sterling City running back Cross Caniddle.
I don't remember I wouldn't say the name of the kid anyway, even if I did remember it, but there was one poor kid in the 6-man game. Did you see him run straight into the goalpost trying to catch a pass?
I did.
We saw it, kid. It was funny, we're not going to lie, but, you
Glad
played
you're
a
okay.
good game. Glad you're okay.
3 to C. This is the final segment on Money More Fallout. 3 to C. 1 o'clock Thursday at Legacy Stadium in Katy.
Oh.
It is Katy Tompkins in Galena Park, North Shore, a battle of unbeatens. If you like Houston area heavyweight showdowns, keep an eye on this one. 3 to C. Katy Tompkins in Galena Park, North Shore, as you're trying to put together the graphic.
There you go.
Great.
I have the other ones.
How about the Myrtle Beach Bowl,
1:30 p.m.
which is going on in 70 minutes.
Let's go.
1:30 p.m. The North Texas Mean Green take on Appalachian State.
The inaugural Myrtle Beach Bowl, may I add.
In Conway, South Carolina.
At the Chanticleers.
The Chanticleers. Look, there's greatness there.
Yeah.
The Myrtle Beach Bowl
on
going
the
on
field.
today at 1:30.
It's happening.
There's that. And finally, 2 o'clock Saturday at Mesquite Memorial Stadium. Denton Ryan and Longview. And this is going to be a terrific game.
Longview beat their chest this past weekend. I mean, if you had any sort of doubt, they went out there and said, sit down.
It is. It was impressive, and now they get the number 1 team in the state. So Longview and Denton Ryan. That is Monday Morning Fallout.